Okay, thank you so much for all that joining this session. Okay, basically this is a very important and also very critical session because there's some amendment and also improvement being made by IPSIS, which are slightly different from the one that already been practiced previously. Right, so for today, our coordinator, Dr. Muhammad Azmin, okay, will what we call conduct, right, or will given the speech, right, or the briefing on the guideline for the RP procedure for postgraduate student, right. So basically this guideline or procedures will be effectively, okay, starting from this July, right, because it is recently launched sometime in June 2022. So for those that plans to okay, so those that plans to having their DRP, so please have a look. Okay, but at the end of the session, we're also going to share with you the recorded version of this guideline. Okay, so without further delay, okay, I pass or I hand over the session to Dr. Muhammad Azmin, okay, for the briefing session. Okay, thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Allahumma 'allimna ma yanfa'una wanfa'na bima 'allamtana wa zidna 'ilma. Allahumma anzil 'alaina bi hikmatika wa anshur 'alaina bi rahmatika ya dzal jalali wal ikram. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله الكرام ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Thank you, Dr. Hidayah, for the opening remark regarding our event today. So basically, this is just a briefing on the guideline of the RP procedure for postgraduate students. Right off the gate, I just want to clarify one thing. The sharing session that we are having today is specifically for the Master for Research as well as for PhD student. So for any Master for coursework that is joining us today, so this is not applicable to you. So this is just for Master for Research and for PhD students strictly, the procedure that is going to be explained. Okay. So into the session, we are going to see about the preparation for the RP, the new procedure that has been developed by IPSIS. So in this, we have research proposal, chapter layout, and submission process via UPTRackS, and research proposal regarding similarity in that report, and during the RP, what to do, and after the RP, what need to be done. Okay, this is what we call the overview of all the entire journey of your postgraduate studies in UITM. So this is in regard of master by research as well as the PhD. So as you can see here, from application and registration towards DRP. The master by research full-time are given 6 months to complete their DRP from the date of registration, and the part-time master by research are given 12 months to complete their DRP session. And for PhD as well, we encourage them to also defend within 12 months after their initial registration date. So there are also the possibility to convert the master proposal into PhD. So if any of you are interested in converting your master by research into PhD, so you are given 12 months to do so from the date of your registration for the full time, and you are given 24 months to convert your master to PhD for the part-time student. So this is some of the option that is given to the student for master by research if you are intended to do some conversion to PhD. So this is other timeline. So from DRP to thesis submission, the master by research are usually given 12 months, and 3 months are given after when you are submitting for intention to submit. You are given 3 months to submit the full thesis, and after that you are given about 3 months for the examiner to evaluate as well, to read all of your thesis. And after that you are given, after the viva session, you are given 1 month to do correction, or but it also depends on the result that has been given to you during the viva session. Then after the thesis has been corrected, you are given 1 month to receive the verification by examiner. And after that we have thesis formatting, and then after that you can send the thesis and wait for the Senate meeting, and then after that you are officially graduated as a master by research or PhD. Okay, so there is some of the overview of the timeline for the postgraduate student by research. So now we are going to see to look into the preparation for DRP. So this is basically the requirement for you to be able to sit for your defense proposal. So as you can see here, the mandatory requirement for all research students is to attend the EPSIS Research Skills Seminar in year 1. And second, to attend and complete all Thai 2 module organized by MASMED. So Thai 2 module is only for the PhD student. And the student will be given either AM1 or M2 if they fail to submit and present their research proposal within the stipulated time. So this is actually the rules and regulation that has been in place for a very long time. It is just that our faculty has decided on not to really push the student, but if the EPSIS are going to implement this rules strongly, so you need to adhere to the stipulated timeline for the DRP session. For, as you can see here in the level of master, the full-time are given 6 months to prepare their defense proposal, which is from the date of their registration, and the part-time are given 12 months to prepare for their presentation of a defense proposal. And for the PhD, for the full-time student are given 12 months or 1 year. And then for the part-time are given 18 months to prepare for their defense proposal. So this is after you have completed all of the field research skill seminar, as well as all the Type 2 module for the PhD students. After you completed all of that, then only you can apply for the defense proposal. So this is the structure of the research skill compulsory seminar as follow. So a research skill webinar, a 3-day seminar which cover 8 modules. So this is a seminar via online platform. So as of right now, we are still using online platform to deliver the content of the module. And for the PhD student, we have the training in innovation, entrepreneurship, exploration. It is a 4-day seminar. So all of these courses need to be completed before you apply for defense of proposal. So this is the DRP. So this is the DRP process. So for the student, you need to attend the UCIS or RRS series and attended Type 2 for the PhD student, and submission of research proposal, and then submission need to be below than 30%. And for the supervisor, you need to review the proposal and validate the similarity index that has been put forward by your students. And our KPPS will endorse the proposal and nominate the chairperson and the panel of assessor and conduct the DRP at any stipulated time. Then the panel of assessor will evaluate the proposal. Then the chairperson at the day of the defense proposal will rate the DRP and approve the result, whether it is without any correction, minor amendment or major amendment. Then after that, we will push the result to the JCAPS to endorse the result for the student. So now we are going to see into the research proposal chapter layout. So this is basically what you need to have in your research proposal before you turn in the research proposal for defense proposal. So the basic chapter content, we have chapter 1 for the introduction. We have chapter 2, which cover the literature review. And chapter 3, we have the research methodology. And lastly, we have the references, or maybe also we may have some kind of appendixes. Okay. So in chapter 1, we have the introduction. So this is the overview of the chapter 1. We have introduction of the chapter, background of the current research, what is currently being researched in your particular field. Then we have the problem of current research. What is the issue? What is the opportunity that you want to investigate within the field of your study? Then we have hypothesis, whichever may apply to if you are doing quantitative. Then we have research question and research objective, significance of study, scope of the study, and then definition of term if it is required. Then conclusion of the chapter, which summarize the chapter and to introduce the next chapter, which is the chapter 2. So now we are going to look into more detail into each of the element. So in the research title, usually research title is one of the, what we say that it is the key into your research. So basically, when people are reading your research title, they need to be able to understand immediately what your research is all about. So therefore, the research title must be clear, which is the reflection of the research itself. So usually, people will recommend that you, in the title itself, you put what is the variable of your interest of the study in the title itself, so that when people are reading the title, they know what you are doing in your study. Then the title itself need to be concise, which is short and brief. So just state whatever need to be stated so that people will understand what is your research is all about. And comprehensive, also regarding the conciseness, it need to be encompasses all of the thing that you need to want to do. Then specific, which is reflecting the issues to resolve and show novelty on or contribution. So all of this are reflecting in regard what you want to do, the variables, and maybe also where is the location of the study. So all of that need to be reflected in your research title using clear, concise, and comprehensive manner. So then we have the background of the study. So the background information. So in the background information, we can have elaboration of the title, and you need to have some kind of clarity. So in this manner that when we have our title that say that the relationship between the relationship between something to something. So in the background of the study, we need to elaborate the title itself. So what do we mean by what we have written in the title itself? So in the background of the study, we need to clarify what our study is all about. Then also in the background, we need to include some brief literature regarding the current or what is the general situation or the general research condition in your field of study. So this is regarding current issue as well as the previous study that has been done in the field of your study. Then we have the relevance of research before further proceed to the research. So in this manner that what is the importance of your research? What in regards to the contribution for theoretical as well as what is the significant to the industry or society. So you need to be able to think about the relevance of the research itself before you proceed to do the research, because one of the requirement is that the research must contribute something, not only to the academic, but as well as to the community and society itself. Then after the introduction and background of the study, we will introduce about the problem or the issue itself. What do you want to do? Why do you want to do this research? So in this problem statement, this is some of the point that you need to answer when you are writing your problem statement. So in that way, you need the problem statement need to have some clarity. In that, it means that the problem itself must be clear. So the issue itself must be written right in very clear manner. It means that just state the issue and then you will elaborate what the issue is all about. So you need to be specific in the problem statement. What is the issue? Concise, and what is the benefit? What is the benefit when you are doing this research. So say that you have some issue that you want to research. So you need to state what is the issue all about. And apart from that, you need to be able to show that there is some benefit when we are studying this issue, so that it will give some more impact toward the reader. Then the requirement to study the issue, and the focal point of the problem itself. So what is the issue, and what is the the focal point, what is the focus of the study itself. Then we have the research gap. So research gap, there are various research gap. We have knowledge gap, we have methodological gap, we have what we call contribution gap. So there are many research gap that can be exploited and be put forward into your study. So you need to be able to come up what is the research gap that is appropriate for your study. Then from the issue that has been raised by your study, you need to be able to generate the research question. So the research question is what your study is going to answer, and what is and from the answer that you are going to get, then that answer will become your contribution for the study. So the research question. So the research question is the extension of the problem statement itself. So it relates to the problem statement, in which that it is a narrowing of the topic, in which that the research question is telling the reader or the examiner what you are going to do specifically for your study, and it need to be connected to the objective. So usually we know that the research question, the research objective, as well as the hypothesis is usually interconnected between one and each other. So for the research objective, it need to be specific. It means that it like to investigate the relationship between stress and student performance. So it needs to be variable, meaning that the variable need to be able to be measured, and achievable also regarding to the measurable, and within the whether you are capable of doing that kind of research. And it need to be realistic, as well as within the time frame or time limit that has been given to you. So when you are formulating your research objective, you need to remember to apply this SMART acronym to be able to usually finish on time. Because usually when we are doing our study, sometimes we tend to be estimating ourselves, that we think that we can do many more, but in reality that we are not given very much time to do our study. So therefore you need to reflect on what is achievable, what is realistic within the given time frame. Then also within the chapter 1, usually we have scope as well as limitation. So scope and limitation is like delimitation and limitation. So what is the function of your study? What is the feature of your study? And you need to also, in the scope, you need to be able to state whether it is deliverables, meaning that whether the study is able to be completed or not. Then within the boundaries or limitation, you need to set what are your study are going to do and what your study is not going to do. So that is what limitation or boundaries mean that. Then also in the scope, you need to say what is your output and the constraint that you may face when you are doing your research. So now we're going to see regarding chapter 2, which is about the literature review. So literature review is basically just taking secondary data, and we review the data in regard of our study or the proposed study that we are going to do. So usually in this chapter, we will discuss the introduction of the chapter, review of literature relevant to the current research, review of literature of relevant theory, research framework, developing research framework, hypothesis development, and conclusion of the chapter, which are the summary of the chapter, introducing of the next chapter. So
jadi apa strategi nak bagi orang kenal dia? Sampai ni
Okay, dah.
So sorry for the inconvenience. So now let's continue our sharing session. So now in the chapter 2, which is the literature review, we are going to see into the introduction of the chapter. So usually the introduction of the chapter will briefly, you will usually write regarding what is being reviewed and what is the organization of the chapter 2 for your study. Then after that, we have the review of the literature relevant to the current research. So in that you are going to review all of the variable of interest in your study. Then review of literature of relevant theories. Usually in regard to the master by research as well as Doctor of Philosophy or PhD, we are going to need to have some kind of underpinning theory in your proposal. So one of the importance of having underpinning theory or using theory to anchor your study is that other researcher will know that you are doing your research based on the accepted scientific rigorousness. So that's why most of the master by research as well as Doctor of Philosophy need to have some kind of underpinning theory when they are doing their research, because when we are doing our research, basically we are trying to expand the existing knowledge regarding in regards or pertaining to the field of the study itself. So therefore, that's why we usually have some kind of a theory that we are going to apply to our study. Then after that, within the chapter 2 also, we are going to develop or to formulate the research framework. Usually research framework is required when you are doing quantitative approach study. So in the research framework, we are going to synthesize all of the review of literature relevant to the current research. And from there, from the review of the literature, then only then we are going to have our research framework. Then from the research framework, we are going to develop our hypothesis. And within the hypothesis, all of the relevant variable of the study are going to be connected through the diagram that has been diagrammed through the research framework. Then after that, we may have the conclusion of the chapter, which is the summary of the chapter and introduction of the next.
Sorry, kenapa tiba-tiba di belakang saya?
那你我们也可以拍一个。
Okay, then in the literature review, this is particularly in regard to the review of the relevant current research topic. So in the literature review, you need to find the relevant information. So it means that just focus on the variable of your study. Usually, the panel will want to see whether you know what is your variable is all about and what is your study is all about, and one of the places that they are going to see whether you understand what you are doing is through the literature review that you are doing, because from there, from the literature review that you do, they will know that whether you have done sufficient reading in regards of your study, and whether you understand through the how you put various thought of various scholars into your literature review. Then in order to write the literature review, you need to evaluate, critically review all of the relevant past study in regard to your field of your study. Then you need to summarize, determine most important and most relevant studies in regard to your field. Then after that, you need to synthesize or connect all of the ideas that you have read from the various literature, various scholars that you have found in the journal. Then after that, we are going to integrate all of that bit and pieces that you read from this article, that article, into new knowledge or the state of knowledge. So because of that, the literature review, when properly done, can be submitted to journal as part of systematic literature review, because systematic literature review also can be considered as one of the contribution from your study. Then after that, we have the chapter 3, which is research methodology. So at first, we also have the introduction of the chapter. So in the introduction of the chapter, you are going to state what is basically what the chapter 3 is all about in regard to your study. So in this, you are going to state what is the method you are going to do. So what is the population, what is the sample, and other things that pertain to your study. Then in the chapter 3 also, you need to have the research design. So whether it is quantitative, qualitative, or mixed methodology. And within that, given criteria, whether it is qualitative, quantitative, or mixed method, you need to choose what is the most suitable for you. Then you have the research methodology. In this, that you are going to choose what is your unit of analysis, what is your sampling method, what is your time horizon, what is your intervention unit, extent of researcher intervention, and other thing that is pertaining to your study. Then we have also in the research methodology chapter is the research instrument. So in the research instrument, it is divided into whether you are doing qualitative or quantitative study. So both of the research approach have different research instrumentation and development process as well as testing process. So you need to stipulate in regard to the development process as well as testing process, whether you are adopting or adapting existing research questionnaire, or whether you are developing by yourself. And also you need to stipulate how do you test, whether you are doing pre-test or pilot test in your regards to the reliability and validity of research instrument. Then after that, we also usually in chapter 3, we also have the plan for data analysis. So how you are going to analyze the data that you are going to collect in the future. So as you know that quantitative and qualitative research approach have different methodology in regard to the analysis. So this is pertaining to the what we have shared before in the first 2 webinars. Then we have the conclusion of the chapter, summary of the next chapter, and introduction to the next chapter. So basically, research methodology, you need to write it in a clear and detailed manner in regard the field work, sampling technique, interview session, whether it is lab work, experimental, and in regard to the statistical analysis. So it means that in any given section within the chapter 3, you need to write it as clear as possible. Then achievable. The achievable is in regards to the research objective. So as I have said before, when you are formulating your research objective, so what your study is going to do, so the research objective need to be measurable. And when I say that it is need to be measurable, it means that all of the research objective need to have some kind of data analysis tools associated with each of the research objective. So if the research objective is pertaining to finding the relationship between variable A to variable B, then you need to know what specific statistical tool need to be used. Then after that, you also need to have some expected result when you are doing your research methodology, because one of the important thing to note that when you are doing your data analysis, the result may come out as it is, but it is usually up to us to interpret what the result is, what the result means. Usually, if the result is within our expectation, then only then we can move on into the other chapter. So also we need to include the research design, flowchart, Gantt chart, activity, and milestone. So usually the flowchart, Gantt chart activity milestone. This is one of the tools that can be used to monitor yourself and whether you are on track in regards to graduate on time. So this is one of the example. So this example is regards to the science and technological school. So that's why they are doing the internal combustion engine waste energy recovery using electronic turbo compounding. So in our social science, so we have different kind of phase when we are doing our data collection as well as data analysis. So this is the research activity or Gantt chart that I have set. So plan your research activities according to objective, methodology, and scope. So as you see before, as we see here, the methodology or your study need to be planned from the very beginning, meaning that even from the writing or from the development of your proposal itself need to be accounted for, so that you are using maybe your 3 years, maybe 4 years of study, and you are able to finish the study within the time frame itself. So this is just some of the example that you can use to monitor yourself, where is your progress right now, and from there you can decide whether to accelerate further to be able to finish up your study. So this is some proposal mapping. So this is one of the methodology that you can use in order to see clearly what you are going to do or what you are doing right now. So you can just fill in all of the information that you have right now. Then after that, you can play around with the output that you are going to write into your proposal. Then also as all of you have known that in order to be able to graduate, you need to publish at least 2 papers in regard to your study. So this is one way for you to do in order to plan for your publication. So usually, if we want to publish, in this example, they want to publish 3 papers. So they are going to separate the research objective into 3. As you can see here, that's say the measurable. So it means that within your research objective, you have maybe 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 research objective. So meaning that you can take and separate each of the research objective and turn into journal article. So each one of the research objective can be the measurable 1, measurable 2, and measurable 3. And then all of that can be turned into the journal article, and it can really help you to publish your paper before you are proceeding into the viva session and graduate for your study. So now we are going to see into the research proposal submission. So this is the process for the Master by Research as well as Doctor of Philosophy. For the Master by Coursework, as you already know, you don't have this kind of system. This is just for the Master by Research as well as Doctor of Philosophy. So right now we are only using system in order to organize as well as plan our defense proposal as well as viva session. So in the abstract system by UITM, there are 5 functions that the student will find in the system itself. So the first one is supervisor nomination and approval, and the DRP process, examiner nomination and approval, thesis evaluation, and then research progress monitoring. So this is the 5 function of the abstract that has been provided by UITM. So in the research proposal submission, so you need to make sure that the supervisor appointment was approved by the JAF meeting. So in order to know whether the supervisor appointment has been approved by the JAF meeting, you can see in the status of my supervisor must be checked by JAF. So this is the check by JAF, as you can see here. As you can see from your, if you open your abstract system, then you will see whether the status of my supervisor has been checked by JAF or checked by JKIPA. Only then, after you have ascertained that your supervisor has been approved, then only you can proceed to apply for the defense of proposal. Then after you have ascertained that your supervisor have been approved by JKIPA as well as JAF, then you have to upload your research proposal in PDF format. And please rename the proposal document to student ID numbers only. So this is the graphical interface for the submission tab. So after that, the screen will change and view the application of the DRP, and student can change all information before main supervisor endorse the proposal. And the DRP status is new. So then in the supervisor screen, your supervisor will see this following new application for defense of research proposal. Then the supervisor will endorse after he or she have read your proposal and your form, then only then she or he will contemplate whether to approve or to reject your application for defense research proposal. Now, during the research proposal defense itself, so the student will present their proposal for 15 to 25 minutes, and this is some of the recommended content that you need to put inside your presentation slide. So the first one is the full title of the research itself, then background of the problem or background of the study, then problem statement, research objective and research question, maybe in one slide, and scope and limitation of the study, significance of the study, literature review, conceptual framework, if applicable. If you are doing qualitative, maybe you don't have the conceptual framework. Then the research methodology, research design, the sampling, data collection, And lastly, the study plan or the Gantt chart or the milestone activities that you have seen before. So this is some of the recommended content for the presentation when you are doing your defense of the research proposal. So this is the breakdown of the mark that have been given to each of the component of the research proposal that you written. So this is from the standpoint of the examiner itself. So title is about 5%, and problem statement is 20%, problem analysis and justification and rationale. And we have research objective and research question, literature review and conceptual work, as well as research methodology and significance of the research. So as you can see here, that we have charted everything that you have done, from the title to the problem statement to the significance of the research. So everything that you have written inside your research proposal have their own weight and importance. So based on what you see here, that everything has their own breakdown of the mark, and you can play around with the importance that have been given here. So this is the breakdown of the DRP result. So after you have attended and defense for your research proposal, so this is the 5 possible category that you will receive. So the first one is category 1, which is corresponding to 90% to 100 marks. So if you are receiving 90 to 100 marks, then you are going to be given category 1, which is accepted without any amendment. So it's like it is accepted as it is. Then most often than not, the student will receive whether category 2 or category 3. So this is the majority of the student that have do their defense research proposal. Usually they receive the 2 or 3 marks, which is accepted with minimal amendment. So usually based on the severity of the error or the correction that need to be made, you will be given 2 or 3 category. For 2 category, you are given 2 weeks from the date of the defense proposal to finish your correction before being submitted back to the postgraduate office. Then if you are receiving the 3 category, you are given 1 month from the date of your research proposal defense to submit your corrected proposal. And then category 4 is a major amendment. So in major amendment, you are receiving 65 to 95, 69%, 69 mark for your proposal. So if you are receiving, or if you receive major amendment, then the only possible outcome is to redefense for your to redefense your amended proposal. So in this way, the student has to resubmit the amended proposal and represent it to the DRP panel within 2 months from the date of the DRP. So if you are receiving, if you receive a major amendment, you are given 2 months to complete all of your proposal correction and then submit, and then you need to redefense your proposal. And then the last category, which is the category 5, you are receiving less than 65 mark for your proposal. If you are receiving category 5, then it means that the proposal has been rejected by the panel. So if you receive the category 5, the student is required to submit and present a new proposal. So usually, if the student receive category 5, they are allowed or they are given 3 chances. They are given 3 chances to defend their proposal before being dismissed. So this is the additional note. Students are given 3 chances to defend their research proposal. And students who receive category 4 or 5 in the third DRP will be dismissed, and the DRP result should be announced immediately after DRP session. So this is, you will know after your DRP session, you will know whether you are given category 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So if the amended proposal is not approved by the panel of assessor at the second presentation, the student may be advised to change the program. So this is all depend on the panel of assessor during your Viva or DRP procedure. Then after the DRP, so this is the diagram of the flow chart. What need to be done after the DRP session itself. So this is the category. So we have category 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if you are receiving category 1, you are just going to submit the proposal as it is, and it will be supported during JCAPS. And after, if you receive the second category and third category, you need to do the correction, whether 2 weeks for category 2 and 1 month for category 3. And then after that, after all the verification and checked by the JCAPS, it will be approved. Then for category 4, after have been checked and supported, the student need to do 2 months of correction, and after that, the student need to resubmit the proposal and prepare for redefense at the time given by the postgraduate office. And for the 5th category, the students are given around 3 months to prepare their new proposal if necessary. And then after that, they are going also to be redefense their proposal anew. So this is just some self-check. So the student must ensure the correction must be submitted according to the stipulated time. So whether you are given category 2, 3, 4, and 5, all of those categories have their own stipulated time. So if you are given 2 weeks, you need to adhere to the 2 weeks time frame that has been given. So if the student has to resubmit and do redefense, please ensure the timeline is adhered. So the result will be endorsed by the JCAPS meeting, and the student will get the official result. So after you have done your research proposal defense, your result, whether it is 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, it will be endorsed by JCAP and it will be produced as official result. Then following acceptance of the proposal, the student is encouraged to declare any intellectual property implication of the proposed research using the form supplied by the Research Management Center and apply the research ethic approval is applicable. So if you think that your study is if your study is able to produce any intellectual property, then it is very advisable that you apply for or declare any intellectual property implication. So that the ramification from the declaration is that the research ethic approval can be passed without much trouble. So the result of the DRP will be endorsed by JCAP meeting before it is keyed in the SIM 6.5 by the faculty. So this is in regards to the postgraduate office. So in regards to the research ethic application or REC, so before proceeding to data collection, you are required to apply for approval from the Research Ethics Committee. So as of 2021, so Faculty of Hotel and Tourism have implemented the REC or Research Ethics Committee. So in order to be able to proceed to your data collection, the research proposal that you have written and have defended need to be approved by the Research Ethics Committee before any activity can be done, such as pilot testing. So even before you are doing your pilot testing, the proposal need to be approved by the Research Ethics Committee. So the relevant form are available at www.recuitm.org, and please download and submit to the faculty for approval. So this is some of the requirement before you are proceeding to data collection. So with that, that's all of the sharing session that we have today in regards to the defense of research proposal. So I hope that all of you have some kind of understanding of the procedure, of the new procedure that have been put forward by IPSIS. So I hope that all of you can properly plan your journey because as you have seen that from the time of registration, your study journey has been counted until right now. Okay. So right now, some question from the student. So doctor, may I ask in the introduction part, which area we need to put the study challenge and issue is in the background of study or problem statement? So the study challenge or issue can be put, usually the challenge or issue can be put inside the problem statement. You just need to be able to properly organize your writing in order to make sense of the challenge and issue that you want to portray or you want to raise inside your problem statement. But usually it is inside the problem statement. And research limitation. Research limitation usually we have you can put inside the scope itself, the scope of the study and limitation.
Maybe that Azmin, last question about how long it's taken to approve and students submit their receipt. Maybe the last question, because we've got less than 1 minute.
Excuse me, doctor.
Yes, Lena.
Yes, doctor. Could we please have this PPT in our email? Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sure, we will share the recorded version, right, Dr. Azmin, afterwards?
REC usually